Another rainy, smoky day up here in the north, and another day in the shift, and sitting in the truck, kind of adding some. I don't know. I touched on forgiveness in a reel last week, or a short, I guess. And one of the things I didn't really mention or go into detail was where I learned about forgiveness. This is my first divorce. I had married to a very mean, pretty almost evil person. She had done some pretty gnarly things to myself and treated me very poorly, and done some other things. I won't go into those details. But anyways, after years of legal battles and court battles for my kids, and it was the last time I'd actually was in court with her, and I remember opening the door for her and to let her go through, and she stood there. And in that moment, all I saw was a 6-year-old version of herself. And it dawned on me. And so I forgave her for all of it. In that moment, it was so freeing. I was staring down the barrel of 6 figures of debt. Lost everything. It was really rough. I had to fight for my kids. It was messy. It was lawyers and bullshit. And but in that moment and all of it, I just and from that moment on, I couldn't see her as an adult. I just saw her as this sad 6-year-old little girl, hurt, lashing out. And even to this day, not that we speak often, but I can still see it. And but that forgiveness kept me alive. Like, I had to pay back. I had to pay insane, crippling child support on top of arrears, on top of debts and stuff that she'd accumulated, and it was just a big, giant mess. But when I forgave her, something had changed within me, and I was able to, one, move on and not let it eat at me. I didn't lose any sleep anymore. My life would instantly almost gotten better, and I'd told this story to other men who had gone through some divorces and faced similar situations, and hopefully it helped them. But like, no matter what that person has done, you can always think of them as a child, an innocent little 6-year-old trying to just be mad and stomp their feet, and you can laugh at that. But something that's almost just as important as forgiveness to other people is forgiving yourself, giving yourself some grace. God gives you a bit of grace. You should too. That one, forgiving yourself, that's a fuck of a lot harder. I struggle with it myself. But I've come a long ways myself, and through what I've done, I've made some mistakes as a parent and as a partner and as a human being, and I'm far from perfect. And I was able to, I had to almost do the same thing, but in the mirror. I had to look in the mirror and see that 6-year-old version of me and let him forgive me. Because in the end, it's something I don't try to impress anybody. The only person I want to make proud is the 6-year-old version of me, because he was the truest, most pure version, untainted and not corrupted by the system or schools or indoctrinated. It's a 6-year-old full of wonder and curiosity and love and a pure soul, right? And so, looking in the mirror one day after some real hard days, and especially as a parent, I forgave myself, and it was just as powerful as forgiving my ex. It freed me, and it really, at the end of the day, a little bit of grace goes a long ways. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We all make mistakes. You learn from them. You try not to repeat them, and you just keep moving forward, no matter what. Keep moving forward. Wars aren't won by miles, they're won by inches. And if any of you out there are struggling or having a real tough go, just remember that. Give yourself some grace. You know, you deserve it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Give yourself some grace. You're trying. And, you know, it's one of those things. We live through these lives and I don't know, we just do our thing, right? And if you try to act out of kindness as best you can when you can, things get a lot easier, you know. But they said forgive, but don't forget. You know, you can forgive somebody, doesn't mean that you have to eat dinner with them or be, you know, allow them in your home or anything of that nature. But just forgive. It's one of the most important things in Christianity and in life. But also forgive yourself. It's part of self-love. You know, it's a hard thing though. It's not. It's one of those things. It's simple, but it's never fucking easy. So just remember to look in the mirror and look back at your 6-year-old self and that wonder and curiosity and forgive yourself. Because, you know, we all make mistakes. We all been there. And I make them constantly. You know, I still make mistakes. Like, as stoic as I try to be, and, you know, I'm still a human. I still have, you know, issues. So, but in the end, you know, just forgive yourself. Forgive the people who've done wrong to you. Like, you know, you learn over the years that a lot of the hatred that's slung towards you is usually just a reflection of themselves. And it's that little 6-year-old inside of them lashing out. You know, so, and even I see it in some of the toughest human beings out there. I've worked with some men's men, you know, and some dangerous jobs, and sometimes I'm getting yelled at or in a hard situation, and my brain sends me back to there, sees them as this little 6-year-old in coveralls and a hard hat and steel toe boots screaming at me. And I try not to laugh. But, you know, a lot of times it's that inner hatred and, you know, lashing out towards others. So just try to remember that. And if you're going through some shit, like, just always remember, always move forward. Any step is a good step. And it may not seem like it's, you know, making progress, but that doesn't matter. You just keep moving forward. And what's the next best move? You know, it's something I taught myself in jiu-jitsu. You're getting crushed by another guy, a fucking World Series black belt or, you know, brown belt. You're getting your ass whooped, and, you know, you're getting crushed in mount, and you just, what's the next best move? And you just work inch by inch, crawl, claw, whatever you got to do, but just keep moving forward. But helping move forward, the tool of forgiveness will take you so much further. And forgiving yourself will give you the grace you need. So, anyways, hope most of you out there are enjoying the summer. A bit smoky and rainy here, but anyways, just always remember, forgive, but don't forget. Anyways, tally ho, motherfuckers.